All right, welcome to the continuation of your math lesson. This is part 3, how to change percents to fractions, and then how to change them fractions to percents. So, when you're changing a percent to a fraction, you put a denominator of 100 under the percent, and then you find lowest terms. So, here's my percent. I stick a denominator of 100 underneath those numbers. They become my new numerator. My denominator is always going to be 100. And then I find lowest terms. So I know all the things that I can divide into 100. I've gone over those math facts a bunch of times. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12.5, 20, 25, 50, and 100 all go into 100. 18, so you think, okay, what goes into 18? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. The only one they have that's the same is 2. So I make lowest terms. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 100 divided by 2 is 50. I know it's lowest terms because the only things that I can divide into 9 are 1, 3, and 9. And I can't divide any of those into 50. So it's lowest terms. All right, let's see another example. Another example here, I've got 4%. Now, that's okay, it only has one digit. Not a big deal. Whatever your percent is, no matter how many digits, 1 or 52, whatever those digits are, you have to put them on 100. It doesn't matter how many digits are on the top, the 100 has to go on the bottom. So 4% changes to 4 over 100, and of course, you need to make lowest terms. So I know that 4 is one of my 100 math facts. So I know that I can divide them both by 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So there's my lowest terms. 4% is 1 over 25. All right, the last example that we're going to do is this one down here. This is a percentage that is more than 100. Which is kind of weird. How can you have something out of 100 that's bigger than 100? But just go with it. So I have 310%. And I look over, all I do is I put whatever that percent is as my numerator, 310. And now my denominator stays as 100. I still need to find lowest terms. This is just an improper fraction. It's not a big deal. So I still need to find lowest terms though. So I look, 310, 100, both of them end in zeros. So I know I can divide them both by 10, so that I end up with 31 over 10. There's my fraction. Now I can change that into a mixed number if I want to, but it's not necessary. So 31 over 10 is what 310% is expressed as a fraction. Now let's do the opposite. Let's change fractions to percents. So when you're changing a fraction to a percent, you're going to do the same kind of thing. You find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, or you divide the denominator into the numerator and multiply by 100. So there's 2 different ways you can do this because you might not be able to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. It's possible. So let's talk about this. 3 over 100. So 3 over 100 already has a denominator of 100, so I don't have to do anything. All I'm going to do is take that numerator, it's now my percent. Whatever my numerator is, if the denominator is 100, that's my new percent. So 3 over 100, 3%. Now what if I have some other examples here? I've got 7 over 10. Now I need to change that into a denominator of 100. So 7 over 10, 10 changed into 100, I have to times by 10. It's one of my 100 math facts that I hopefully have memorized by now. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 7 times 10 is 70. Now that I have a numerator with a denominator of 100, I take that numerator and that's my percent. So 7 out of 10 changes into 70 out of 100, which changes into 70%. But they all represent the same value. Now here's another example where I've got 9 over 11. And there's no way with my math facts that I have in my head that I can change 11 into 100. So this is an example where I have to take my denominator and divide it into my numerator, just like I did before. However, something to keep in mind with this is there's 2 steps. You have to take your denominator and divide it into your numerator, and then you'll get a decimal. Then you have to take that decimal, times it by 100 to get a percent. So let's do that. I take my 11, I divide it into 9. These are my outside calculations. 11, of course, can't go into 9, so this is where we get our decimal. 11 can go into 90, 8 times, of course, 88. Don't forget to borrow. 2 left over. 11 can go into 20 only 1 time. Don't forget to borrow. And I have 2 decimal spots, I'm done. I take that and I times it by 100 to get my percent. So remember, when you're multiplying by 100, it's very easy. You're moving the decimal spot 2 spots to the right to make it bigger. So 0.81 is 81%. So that's what I write down over here. Now, of course, this could keep going, but I just need my 10th and my 100th, and that's good enough. 2 decimal spots only. So multiply by 100, get my percentage, write my percentage. If you have questions, please get in touch.